This video is brought to you by Answerly, a question platform that pays you for adding high-quality answers on different questions. The users are rewarded in Answerly tokens, which they can easily convert into dollars or any other cryptocurrency by using one of the exchanges mentioned in the description.
Over the years, there's always going to be that one game that gets released and has such a unique style that makes people want more and more, thus creating a cult following, and some fans of that style go as far as to develop their own game with a lot of similarities so they can put their own spin on it and create their own stories. Soulslike has been overused to the point that every marginally challenging game and open world is given the same level. Some legit Soulslike games have been released since. Even more are also coming within the next couple of months or years. Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about the top 5 best upcoming Soulslike games in 2022. So without further ado, let's get started. Steel Rising. The gameplay of Steel Rising takes place in the streets of Paris during the throes of the French Revolution. Aegis is the only thing standing between the dictator Louis XVI and the helpless Parisians fighting for their lives. Steel Rising is officially launching in June 2022, initially announced last year. We now know the next game by Spiders is taking inspiration from the Souls-like genre, focusing more on action than RPG this time around, with a strong emphasis on fast-paced combat, unlike their previous games. Players take control of Aegis, an automation during the alt history French Revolution where King Louis XVI's automata army is terrorizing the citizens of Paris, and it's up to you to stop the tyranny and possibly alter the course of history. If you've ever played a Souls-like, Steel Rising will feel familiar to you, said Spiders CEO Jahan Razo in a recent blog post. And this is one of the reasons why we wanted you to play as an automaton. Aegis is much more acrobatic than any human could be. She brings great agility and versatility to any fight. What's more, throughout your adventure, you will unlock various tools, opening new paths to explore, as well as new gameplay possibilities during combat. Despite their rough edges, Spiders have always been able to create unique and interesting worlds, and Steel Rising looks no different. It's always great to see a developer genuinely improve, but the Souls-like bar is a pretty high standard to beat. But before we move on to the next best upcoming Souls-like games in 2022, like this video, smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell right now, because you will surely be surprised what these games are. Death Cathedral. Souls-like games in which we take control over the revived remains of over 40 different characters. In Death Cathedral, warriors gradually become corrupted, which forces us to constantly juggle available bodies. Death Cathedral is a very challenging action strategy dungeon crawler. You'll need to build a powerful army of the living dead with enemies' flesh and bones within 15 days to kill the devil lurking in the deep end of the cathedral. The battles in Death Cathedral contain not only realistic sword fighting, but also dashing and gorgeous skills. Parry, dodge, or roll. Cope with different attacks in various ways. Observe and master your skills during combat and keep confronting stronger opponents. The uniqueness of the gameplay is that by controlling corpses of flesh and bones, every exploration increases the decay of the body you bring to the battle, said Melancholia studio producer H.C. Lee in a press release. The ability to manage the roster and adapt to unforeseen changes while the difficulty level increases will be the key factor to go further in the game. A-Tier. Indie developers and Name Entertainment's action RPG A-Tier has been in development for several years now, but every time we look at it, we can't help but be excited. On top of a beautiful pixel art aesthetic and what's looking like varied combat with multiple different kinds of weapons to use, A-Tier will also feature a unique progression system that will allow players the choice between long-term growth and fleeting yet impactful perks. The Shield Maiden, as with all mortal Norsemen, was to have her fate determined by the 3 fate-weaving Norns and their sacred loom before she even entered the world. However, her destiny was shattered when the mischievous god Loki interfered, dripping spots of the wretched substance A-Tier into the unwoven loom, forever altering the Shield Maiden's path and engulfing the great tree Yggdrasil in darkness. Now the Shield Maiden must venture into the 9 Norse worlds connected by Yggdrasil and unravel the mystery of her faith. Hollow Knight Silksong. Team Cherry's Hollow Knight isn't just one of the best Souls-like games ever, it also happens to be one of the greatest video games ever made. Thus, it would only make sense that the sequel Hollow Knight Silksong would end up being just as good, if not better, than the original Hollow Knight game. Silksong was originally meant to be just an expansion that revolved around Hornet, the mysterious princess protector of the ruins of Hollow Nest. However, right in the middle of development, Team Cherry decided that Silksong was too big and too good to just be DLC content. Because of this, the studio turned Silksong into a full-fledged game that will still revolve around Hornet's adventure in a new and mysterious kingdom. One of the biggest changes to Silksong outside of the new protagonist is that it will invert what the original title did with its underground kingdom. Silksong sees players journey from the depths of the new location up to the top. Given what we've already seen so far, Silksong would end up being the Bloodborne to Hollow Knight's Dark Souls. And finally, we have our top one, Themisia. Themisia, the action RPG of Team 17 and Overborder that is inspired by the Soulslike genre, will also arrive on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, as well as on PC. The novelty comes along with a new launch window set for 2022. Previously expected on Steam for December 7, 2021, the postponement of Themisia was decided to give all the time necessary for the developers to make the best possible game. Specifically, there is a talk of a little more time to make the final touches, so although a precise month of release has not been indicated, we are probably talking about a delay of a few months. On the occasion of the announcement of the new launch window and the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S versions, a trailer which you can admire in the player above which shows some combat sequences. In Themisia, we take on the role of the mysterious Corvus, half human, half raven, as he tries to piece together his lost memories to save himself and the kingdom he once called home. The game features punitive combat in full-style Soulslike and focus on Corvus's ability to steal enemy pestilential weapons and use them against them. Dynamic dodging, and a combat system that generally seems to reward an aggressive approach. A calamity strikes in a kingdom that based its prosperity on the alchemical arts. After discovering the cost, an attempt to stop such practices backfires. Within days, the kingdom falls prey to chaos and the streets fill with monsters. The key to understanding the phenomenon lies in the hands of Corvus, whose memory has been lost. The truth lies in his memories, but every attempt to make them resurface culminates in new secrets to be discovered. Despite their near-universal acclaim, the Dark Souls games are often hard to classify. They intrinsically defy genre, employing elements of roguelike, Metroidvania, action-adventure, role-playing, horror, and hack-and-slash to create unique masterpieces of medieval mythologies. Core mechanics of the series include punishing difficulty and interactive gameplay that forces players to painstakingly retrace their steps, oftentimes with a debuff applied in the event of a death or a misstep. Plenty of difficult games have been compared to Dark Souls, but that doesn't necessarily qualify their placement on this list. The qualifications vary, but I've opted for games that focus on exploration and skill-based combat, while also borrowing certain obvious elements from Dark Souls, ranging from checkpoint systems through to the way XP is gained. And that will be it for today's video, guys. What do you think of these Souls-like games? Are you excited to play these games? Let us know your thoughts about this video in the comments section below.
If you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. To learn more about Answerly and Answerly tokens, check out the links in the description.